So you're telling me you can perfectly mimic anyone? Okay then, do an impression of Sora.
Very well then.
The darkness may destroy my body, but it can't touch my heart. My heart will stay with my friends. It'll never die.
Whoa, not bad. Okay, what about Spawn?
Who made you God, little man? Not that gun, not that uniform, nothing. You wanna scare people, fine. I need a scarecrow.
Whoa, dude, that gave me chills. But okay, try a girl's voice. No way you can do that.
For it is in passing that we achieve immortality. Through this, we become a paragon of virtue and glory to rise above all, infinite in distance and unbound by death. I release your soul, and by my shoulder protect thee.
Whoa, that's amazing, dude. You've got to be the best impressionist I've ever seen.
Yep, you could say I'm a regular Qurupeco.
Qurupeco? What's that? And can I eat it?
Oh, for the love of Electrion. No, it's one of the monsters we hunt.
We hunt monsters?
You know what? I think I got one more impression for you. They say imitation is the highest form of flattery, but in the animal kingdom, it is a way of survival in order to get ahead of the competition. One example is blue jays using audio mimicry to replicate the sounds of hawks in order to scare competitors away from their food source or lesser predators away from them or their nest. And another being visual mimicry, like the non-venomous scarlet king snake adapting to have a very similar color pattern to the actually venomous coral snake, as a means to ward off predators. We humans even had to invent a rhyme to know which one to stay away from. Red on yellow, kill a fellow. Red on black, venom lack. Although I'd personally advise just not touching any snake you see in the wild. And our monster of today's discussion falls into a similar category as the blue jay, mimicking the sound of bigger animals to scare away predators. But Qurupeco can do so much more than that. The bird wyvern that is the most outright bird-like after Malfestio and Acnasom, Qurupeco is almost the spitting image of a bird with beautiful green, yellow, and orange plumage with iridescent purple feathers on its back between its shoulders and a bright red chest. More on that later. It has stubby, partially webbed three-toed feet and a long oar-like tail that unfolds into a similar shape to a Japanese war fan, revealing brightly colored skin, likely as a warning to ward off predators. Then we drift away from bird and more into pterosaur territory with its large, leathery wings with thick, bulky growths on them, but we'll get to that later as we now get to its most eye-catching feature, its beak, which strangely for a bird is filled with teeth and an expanding crest on the top that has a rather open cone-like shape. So, as you can see, it's a relatively basic monster, not too much going on here, so you might not expect much from it. And indeed, it is relatively low on the food chain, doing its best to avoid all the big predators it may encounter, Rathalos, Rathian, Tigrex, Deviljho, Lagiacris, and Plesioth, and it mostly gets by on scavenging and fishing. But if you weren't expecting much from it, you'd be in for quite a surprise. They also often find themselves competing with packs of Jaggy, which, while one of the smaller and weaker species of raptors, have sizable female Jaggia in their midst, as well as a decently powerful great Jaggy. So Qurupeco must be ready to contend with this, and indeed it is, for you can see the crest on Qurupeco's beak expands into the shape of a megaphone, allowing it to amplify its cries, and a large red throat sac, also used for intimidation and attracting mates, inflates to take in a lot of air for a deep, powerful roar that can sound like pretty much any large predator out there. So yes, Qurupeco can perfectly replicate the roars of any other monster, even the biggest and most dangerous predators out there, which scares off just about anything that might think about messing with Qurupeco. Even though they should clearly see it's a bird making that roar, not the predator they're scared of. In addition, in the rare event this doesn't work, Qurupeco is a very capable flyer, unlike a large percentage of winged bird wyverns, so if push comes to shove, they can fly away from anything they can't handle. So with these two factors, along with it being faster than most larger wyverns, allowing it to avoid direct conflict, Qurupeco are pretty chill and do their best to live unproblematic lives. They just like to go about their day looking like they're absolutely vibing to their favorite song, and they are typically found in the deserted island, sandy plains, or misty peaks of the old world. But that's not to say they are incapable of fighting. When the need arises, they are still quite capable of holding their own, striking with a variety of packs, flailing chicken kicks and slaps from their surprisingly sturdy tails, and if they want to hit really hard, they'll even fly up into the air and drop down on their opponent for some serious damage. But they've also got a few hidden tricks up their sleeves, or rather on their wings. Like I said before, they have a pair of brown growths on their wings, and besides just being strong weapons they can also hit their enemies with, they can be struck together to create a spark, much like flint rocks, which is why these growths are known as flint stones. But why is this important? Well, Qurupeco is capable of launching out globs of mucus at its opponents, and aside from being disgusting, this mucus is highly flammable, so if you get covered in it and then Qurupeco makes a spark with its flint growths, well... What the fuck? And this makes them useful partners for riders, as, among other reasons we'll get to later, they can use these flint stones to ignite the fuse on barrel bombs, then launch it right at an enemy's face with their beak, exploding and doing some serious damage and greatly tenderizing the specific part it was launched at. But the main thing we're here for is that beak. I made fun of monsters running away when Qurupeco mimicked other monsters earlier, but that was probably a good idea, as more often than not, the Qurupeco's call serves to attract whatever monster it was mimicking. The older the Qurupeco, the more dangerous the monster they can call. Fun fact, we first discovered Devil Joe because of this. Some hunters went to deal with a pesky Qurupeco, and it let out a roar they'd never heard before. The next thing they heard was boss music as a pickle dinosaur burst through the trees and proceeded to decimate them. And so, more often than not, the monster called forth by the Qurupeco's, well, calls, will fight for the bird wyvern in combat. Seems strange they'd fight for something they'd normally eat, but audio mimicry has that effect on occasion. There was once a story of a trio of lions saving a little girl from some kidnappers because they thought her screams sounded like one of their cubs. And I researched this for a solid 5 minutes and couldn't find anything saying this is false, so don't say I don't do my research. Oh, but we're still not done yet, my friends, as this is merely the surface of the Qurupeco's vocal talents. They are what my lovely Lady Lightning would call synergists, who support the team by empowering them. Or rather, for my D&D fans out there, they are the bards, healing injuries and buffing allies to make them stronger and more durable with their mystical songs and dances. So yes, Qurupeco brings a lot more to the table than one would expect at first, but remember, it's still quite low on the food chain and or threat level. Firstly, it is weak to ice. Next, note that when I said most of the time monsters called by the Qurupeco will fight for it, meaning there are times when monsters won't fight for it and attack it instead. So now it has a hunter and a predator to deal with. Also, its throat sac and crest are rather fragile and can be broken to affect its ability to call for help, and the flintstones can be broken as well. Also, when its throat sac is expanded, it's vulnerable to sonic bombs to deafen and disorient it. Also, if they are attacked and interrupted during the process of their songs to buff or heal their allies, they can be disoriented, resulting in them actually healing the hunter and their allies. However, this is assuming Qurupeco makes it to adulthood to become a problem, which is rarely the case, as the little bundles of joy have a number of problems simply with the nature of their species. First off, from the moment they are born, their vocal organs are fully developed. This is dangerous because their calls can sometimes unintentionally lure in a dangerous predator. Thankfully, the parents usually scare them off with the roar of a larger predator, but this doesn't always work, or the parents aren't always there to defend their baby. In addition, Qurupeco's do a dance to perform their songs, so the babies need to practice and perform those dances to perfect them. The problem with that is, Qurupeco's build their nests on high cliffs or tall rocky spires. Great for keeping them away from predators, not so great when you have a tiny, uncoordinated baby hopping around and stumbling all over the place.
I don't like where this is going.
Yes, unfortunately, despite the best efforts of the parents using their tails as cover, trying to prevent any lethal falls from happening, the majority of Qurupeco chicks die from falling out of the nest and plummeting from the great heights intended to keep them safe in the first place. Irony is one cruel mistress. So that is Qurupeco, probably one of the most unique and interesting bird wyverns out there. Beautiful color, generally unproblematic, and an absolute wonder to observe and see all the different ways they are capable of using their vocal abilities. However, we're not done quite yet, as there is a subspecies, the Crimson Qurupeco. So first of all, the obvious, the colors are different. Now a deep crimson with a vibrant teal as a secondary color for a much more exotic appearance. And as is common with these subspecies, these ones are a good bit larger and more powerful than the normal variety. And in addition, despite still being the same low level on the food chain and sticking to their pescatarian diet, these ones are more aggressive than the original due to the fact that they live in the harsher environments of the volcano and flooded forests. And in combat, it's once again rather similar. Hacks, kicks, tail slaps, and dropping down on an opponent, and they also spit out globs of mucus at their opponents. But this time, said mucus is conductive instead of flammable, and their flintstones create electric sparks when struck together to electrocute enemies and cause thunderblight. In addition, they can also create a blinding flash of light by striking the flintstones together, similar to Gypceros, to stun both hunter and predator alike. And yet again, they have similar vocal capabilities as the original, able to call forth larger monsters to attack hunters. However, this time they go a step above with their calls, also instantly enraging whatever monster they call into the battlefield. In addition, unlike the originals, they can let out a loud cry that requires a set of earplugs in order to drown out, unless you want to feel like your eardrums are about to burst. And above all, in addition to the original's ability to heal and boost themselves and other monsters, they also take on the role of saboteurs, as Lightning calls them, having roars that weaken their opponent, making them feeble and less durable. A truly nasty combo, having your enemies strengthened while you and your allies are weakened.
got a shot, motherfucker, and nobody likes you.
However, all is not lost. They have literally all the exact same weaknesses as the original. The same weakness to ice, the same vulnerability to loud noises when their throat sac is inflated, and you can steal the healing or buff they plan to give to themselves or other monsters with a loud noise or damaging their throat sac as they perform their dance. And so that is everything on the Crimson Qurupeco. Very similar, but unique enough in its own right, and a range of impressive abilities to put it on another level from its normal counterpart. And with that, we have reached the end of our discussion on the colorful bird. I am a big fan of these guys. They're absolutely striking in the visual department. They bring a level of unpredictability into the fight because you never know what monster they might call in for backup. And as gross as it is, their mucus abilities can make them quite a challenge when they use them to their full extent. And come on, how cool is it that there's a literal bard monster out there? So there you have it, everyone. That is my lore on Qurupeco. It is a really cool monster, very interesting and very unique, and it's really a shame that it doesn't get more love and hasn't been in a Monster Hunter game for a while. So let's hope we get it in Wilds because it is just so cool. Like I said, the ability to call in other monsters, I could see that maybe working in real well with invaders if that comes back in Wilds as well, because you never know. It could just be a set number of monsters, then the Qurupeco roars and summons in an invader, like I said, Devil Joe, Basil Geese, Soregios. You never know. And like I said, the ability to give buffs and debuffs to hunters and monsters alike is really cool, and especially the Crimson Qurupeco's ability to do a flashbang. That's really nice. We don't have enough flashbang monsters. There's Gypsaros, Tsitsiyaku, and Crimson Qurupeco. That's it. And again, like I said, they are beautiful monsters. Very pretty, very colorful birds, and I would just love to see them back. But next time, I am really looking forward to, because it's Raknakadaki, one of my favorite monsters from Monster Hunter Rise. It's just nice seeing another Temnoceran to give Nerscylla some company, and it's just a major step above like what you'd expect from Nerscylla. It has webbing attacks and omnidirectional ones at that. The way it works in tandem with its little rachnoids is amazing. The fact it's a fire-breathing spider with a neck that can basically do 360 spins is amazing. Just really awesome, and how powerful it is. Like, it's on the same level as Magnamalo. You've got to respect that. And of course, Pyre Raknakadaki is a level above. I really like everything it does with that. Using its Pyrantulas as literal bombs is amazing, and yeah, I just can't wait to get into it. I'm looking forward to that next time, and hopefully you guys are too. But for now, thank you all so much for watching. I'm doing the pop star dance to show my love for you guys. If you enjoyed this and want to see more, please remember to slash that subscribe button. If you like this video, give a quick cut to the like button. Leave a comment down below. Share it around with all your friends. Be sure to click the notification bell so you never miss it when I upload a video. And be sure to show me the same love I'm showing you by following me on Twitter and Facebook. Then, I'll see you guys in the next video. But until then, Bladies and Swordsmen, stay sharp.
But okay, try a girl's voice. No way you can do that.
This is great. If we do fight training with one another, maybe we can figure out a new combo move.
Whoa, that's amazing, dude. You've got to be the best impressionist I've ever seen.
Yep, you could say I'm a regular Qurupeco.
Qurupeco? What's that? And can I eat it?
Oh, for the love of Elatrion. No, it's one of the monsters we hunt.
We hunt monsters?
You know what? I think I got one more impression for you.
Hadouken!